Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be covering a kind of a quick subject, one I get asked a lot about, and we're also going to cover a quick couple updates. But the topic in question that we're going to cover today is weathering a Bluesmobile. I have the how-tos, what some other guys do, and what I do with my car. Now obviously with a Bluesmobile you can do one of two things. If it's a rusty car, make it nice and then paint it black and white, and then distress it from there like how I did. Or you just buy a rough tough example of a Monaco or Fury and do as you want to your own heart's content. Well, what I did is obvious. I kind of restored mine. Not the best up close, but it's a Bluesmobile. Looks good, gets the job done, makes me happy and everyone else happy. A lot of the weathering boils down to how picky you are, how much detail you want into it. Me, I kind of wanted a lot of what the movie cars had for distress, and I noticed some things that some other builds had that I wanted on my car, and the list goes on and on. So we're going to start at the front, work our way back, and as a side note, how I weathered mine is, a lot of the panels have symmetrical weathering, so a lot of the same stuff I've done to the driver's side is the same as the passenger side, so on and so forth. Now we'll get started. Now up front, you can obviously tell that a lot of little stuff has been weathered. Obviously my license plates, that just consists of what I've used for this car, which is a bunch of light mists of tan or beige spray paint mixed with charcoal, black, and red oxide primer. That's all I used for pretty much everything weathering on this car. Those are the only colors I needed to use, and there's some areas I've also used olive drab, but I digress. But yeah, you see my license plates weathered, the grill, all my trim, even the grills and the bumper are weathered. My push bar's weathered. It has a little bit of red oxide on the metal cross member there. And you can actually see a little bit of the red oxide primer on the corners of the hood, as well as the header panel. A lot of this is pretty much red oxide. I wanted to simulate the car has a little bit of rust spray here and there. The paint has worn through in a few spots on the body, stuff like that. And then the trick is, if you want to run the fender mounted turn signals and you just don't want them to blend in, paint them black. They blend in real good after that. You can barely see them. And now we'll move on to the fenders. The driver's side fender is the only real unique panel on the car, because the passenger side does not have the primer in the lower corner. So how I did this was red oxide primer, and then blended it with charcoal to make it look like the paint was wearing through to the primer, and then a bunch of tan and charcoal to spray in here, as well as a touch of olive drab, and that's how I got the weathered effect of the primer on this fender. Now moving up, we're going to quick cover how I've done all the police markings on this car. A lot of this is, you can get markings one of two ways: decals or stencils. My car is a mix of the two, excuse me. So how I did it was laid them out. They're all white in font color, so laid them out, grabbed some black, shot the areas I wanted to shoot, scratched it with a red Scotch-Brite, and then misted black randomly to get a blotchy effect, to make it look like it was wearing into the black paint behind it. So how I did the To Serve and to Protect is pretty much the same for the decals or lettering on the trunk as well as the quarter panels. Moving down to the bottom of the fender, now we get to cover what I love, is pretty much demonstrating the splash zones where the tires would kick up a lot of dirt, mud, road grime, debris, all that stuff, and it'd spray along the entire bottom of the car. And it's the same process. Tan, charcoal, olive drab, tiny bit of red oxide primer. Didn't want to go too crazy because it wasn't like the front of the fender or the bottoms of these white doors. So do as you wish. I'm just discussing how I did it for my vehicle. And the rockers are also weathered similarly. It's just mainly I used charcoal to blend into the black just to make it look worn. And did that for the rockers, the dog leg, bottoms of my black doors, and the quarter panels. They're all like that. And that moves us to probably the most time-consuming part of the car when I finished it. The doors, mainly the stars. Weathering the doors were kind of easy because it was a lot of, just mist, tan and red oxide to make it look dirty and stained. And then the stars were tricky because I used to run stencils on the car, so I kind of just kept imagining, okay, this is the generic shape of the star, albeit this is all with a spray can and a tiny bit of masking, but I don't think I did that much when it came to the stars on the doors. So I got all that masked up, sprayed them charcoal, and then I fogged tan and black on the star to darken it and make it look aged and distressed, make it look like some parts are starting to peek through to the white behind the emblems. And on the bottom of the door you see a lot of charcoal, red oxide, olive drab, a little bit more charcoal, tan and red oxide. I did the primer around all the doors. The rear doors I used charcoal to blend, same way I did for the primer on the fender. This is a touch my car had. Mine had the names of the Blues Brothers per door, so the driver's side would be Elwood, passenger would be Jake, and then I fogged tan over it to blend into the door. So at a distance, you don't really see it. Going down the road doing 80-90, you won't see it. And that's essentially how I did the doors. It took a while because, again, I wanted to make sure the panels were pretty much symmetrical. It's just my little bit of OCD in the game. That's all it is. So it took a while to perfect each panel to how I liked it, especially the doors. The doors took the longest. Just because you open them and then you see the differences per side, and I got them with at least 97% accuracy of each other. So it sucked, but I got it done. And then moving back here to the P1 doors, again, charcoal on the bottom, but what I used for a color for the P1, it's kind of a rusty orange-red color. It's that Rust-Oleum copper spray paint. It's stuff for like grills or outdoor, pretty much outdoor use paint, if you will. Sprayed them bright orange, copper orange when you spray it, and then I fogged black over it to my liking, and then that was that. And again, I did the primer on the rear doors. It mainly consists of red oxide at first, and then spritzing charcoal around it to make it look like it's blending into the black of the car. And then the wheels, before I forget, they're all gloss black like the body, but I've sprayed charcoal to kind of make it look like they have the same spray that the bottom of the car has, and then cleared all over that. And it's optional to use clear coat. I just wanted to use clear coat because God knows how long it would last if I didn't use clear coat, so on and so forth. Because up until hopefully next year, this thing sits outside, and I don't want the elements to eat away at it too much. That'd break my heart. So moving back here to the quarter panels, in the movie there would be the CHP aerial whip antenna would be mounted somewhere on the top edge. I kind of mimicked what the graphics had. Had my own little CB antenna dots in front of my phone number. Again, same process for the fenders, so I'm not going to go into that. And again, charcoal gray, a touch of olive drab in here, and that's all I did to weather the quarter panels. The quarter extensions and bumper fillers, they have red oxide sprayed very faintly. You can see it in the light, you kind of see it in the dark, or when you're against the sun, but it's very faint. I noticed a couple Bluesmobiles that were created in the past 10-15 years had this little touch. I wanted it on mine because it would make mine a kind of a complete patina package, if you will. And this is only with the history of the car. Durand, Wisconsin Police Department 42. This was an officer's pretty much unit and or badge number through the city, and it was on the car when I got it. Has a historical value to the car, so I added it when I got the car restored and repainted by myself. And some people do this, some people don't. I really wanted this. I wanted to distress the key for the trunk. So again, red oxide, a little bit of charcoal, so it looks like it's blending with the black, and that was it. There's the rear plate. It's again weathered like the front, very similar. And then now you can see the red oxide detailing in the extensions and fillers here. And it's not perfect, but this is how I wanted my Bluesmobile to pan out. And real quick, we're going to cover the roof before we go to some updates real quick. I don't have a lot of storage available on the phone, so that's why it's kind of rushed. But this, the roof pretty much goes as followed. I wanted to be a weird off-white like everything else, have a hint of dinge and dirtiness to it. So around the corners I sprayed tan to make it look like there was a little bit of the oxide primer trying to poke through. You can see there's blotchiness of tan, white, red oxide all on the roof. It's very blotchy, and it looks awesome because it just adds to a patina effect for a Bluesmobile. Now what I love is the area above the windshield where you get a lot of rock chips, a lot of wear and distress on the car. You see a lot of like charcoal and black and red oxide in here, and then it fades to a tan, and then it fades to the off-white. And you can obviously see in the movie that the Bluesmobile has quite a bit of rock chips above the windshield. I could have went crazy with a brush, but I was like, yeah, I'll do it nice and quick and dirty with an aerosol can and then clear over it so it's sealed. Did that and worked out pretty good in my favor. And as you can see, I've also added a little bit of dash trash. I don't smoke by any means, so a lot of these packs of cigarettes are from good friends of mine. My dad found that Lucky Strike cartridge just sitting around, so it's like, oh, here you go. It's like, sweet, it's a similar vintage as what you would find in the movie, so it's just not Chesterfield or anything fancy like that. And real quick, I did fix the quarter panels. They were a little short when we first restored it, so they ended right where my tip of my thumb is. So I added a little wedge extension, fixed the angle of the dog leg, and now it looks more like a Monaco. It was something that was bothering me since I finished it, and I finally got the guts to just do it. And it was the same deal for the quarter panel on this side. The dog leg was mint because it was still the original sheet metal that I was able to restore after cutting it off the car, sandblasting, putting it back on, and making it look pretty. That's what I did back there. And up here, this is the last one I'm going to cover before my run out of time. I finally have a 140 speedometer of 1974. I finally got a face real cheap for $200 including shipping, and it's a lot better than the old face that I have in the car. That's the old one I used to run. Now I have the right year. Another thing I also did was wire up the spotlight. Now it works. And yeah, all that's left for this is to wire the horn in on the circuit properly so that functions, make the speaker bigger for the roof, and swap the 440 transmission and rear axle. But anyways, I just wanted to quick throw this video out there. Appreciate you all for watching. Leave a comment if you want to see more. Like and subscribe if you want to. And can't go home, you can't stay here. So until next time, goodbye.